Hey, what's up, guys? This is T-Bone here. Welcome to another stream. This is a Tuesday stream where we talk about upcoming events, and this time it's the Generational Vault. And from reading the various chats in the network app, and also just kind of reading on my own, I think that there's a lot of confusion. And so, what I want to do, in addition to taking a look at the cards this week, I also want to take a look at the vault and help people understand what it's actually about and also there are new things that are added to it. And specifically, there are ways for you to get older cards. And so I want to talk specifically about, all right, are they worth it? And what should you actually spend your gems on? So let's talk about that. And we got new people we have some people in the chat already. So welcome to the stream, everybody. And yeah, I kind of advertised as well. Hopefully this is a stream where I could kind of help people out if you have any confusions, any questions about what the vault is all about. So my plan is I'm probably going to open a couple of tiers as well, just to see what it's like and to help you understand what you're actually getting with every tier that you're opening. And then we're going to talk about what's going to happen tomorrow as well. And so just saying hi to the chat, everyone, and welcome to the stream. And let's get started. So the vault has sort of gone through various iterations, and it's kind of changed quite a bit from the original sort of vanilla vault. So this particular version of the vault is almost the same as what we're used to, in that you're getting a certain number of gold rewards and silver rewards, and then everything else, and with every pull you're decreasing the number of items, and then so like the higher chances of you getting what you didn't get, the more you pull. Well, with this one, what it's done is they've added previous heroes to the mix as well. And so if you take a look at the vault itself, it's not just the event cards this time. You can also see older cards like Daihomaru, and you can also see, that's the support card, and you can also see the event card Mega Sentinel, Amado's Pride, as well as the ultra rare card, or I guess this is the Master Collection card, Methamine Project, and then the ultra rare card, Sea Swelling Titan. And so there are opportunities for you to actually pull these cards, but you can see that there's only one copy of them in the vault. And these are actually guaranteed items. And this is very important for you to read. So if you take a look at the tiers, so this is where you're going to glean a lot of information from here. So if you take a look at tier 1, you're going to get your gem vault, you're going to get one card from the vault itself, and you're going to get your dust and keys and whatnot. But then at the very bottom, it tells you that you get one Daihomaru 6-star. So whenever in the tiers, they specifically call out a name of a card or something, that's a guaranteed item. And whenever there's a guaranteed item, the number that's below it is a 1. So that means that you're guaranteed to get this item, so it's not technically a random drawing. You're guaranteed that item at that particular tier, and so it doesn't actually decrease your chance of getting something else from the vault because it's guaranteed. It's not taking away from your from the previous, so the other cards, I should say. So compared to the previous vault, think of it this way: you're basically pulling this. So the chances of you getting your event cards, like your Master Collection card or your ultra rare card, actually remains relatively the same. What's different is that you're getting additional cards. So in addition to the one vault card that you get, one vault VIP pull, so instead of 2 cards that you get on tier 1, you actually get 3. You can potentially get 3 cards with this particular tier because you're guaranteed a Daihomaru. You could get lucky and get a Master Collection card. You could get lucky and get a ultra rare card. But those cards are going to be from this event. The only way you're going to be able to get the previous events cards is if you get to the guaranteed tier. So those are not randomized. So that's what I wanted to help you understand. And the only unfortunate thing is that from what I've seen, they actually made the support cards from the previous event, like the Daihomaru, show up as a gold reward. And so it's really confusing to people because you take a look at it and you think that you got a lucky pull, like a Master Collection card or an ultra rare card, and it turns out it's not. Well, that's the confusing part, and I wanted to help clarify that a little bit. So I read this, I sort of been looking at this pack a lot, and I've asked a lot of questions, and I think this, and this is my understanding at this point. Come William Deep, thank you for the plug there. And Don Lawrence, AS Huawei and Chris, Dimas, Karius, Zuzumak, Justin, and everyone else that I didn't get a chance to hi to. So just wanted to say welcome. And so what do I think about this? Like personally, from my perspective, it's these are guaranteed cards at certain tiers. And so you know exactly what you're going to get at each tier. So that means tier 1, you're going to get one support card. Tier 2, you're going to get an event card. Tier 3, you're going to get a relic. And in tier 4, you're going to get the Master Collection card. And tier 5 is where you're going to get an ultra rare. So by tier 5, you're guaranteed an entire full team from a previous event. And in addition to that, you could potentially pull the event card this time as well. And so the question really is, is it worth it for you to go up to tier 5 for the full ultimate form of a previous event? Now, the deck that they've sort of combined here, if you take a look at the cards, it's actually, it's a decent deck, right? But it's one of those decks that it's based on it's based on the Grail mechanics, where if you have the support cards, you can actually generate a lot of power gems after a few turns. But I've never played the ultimate form of that deck, and so I can't tell you how effective it is compared to the more recent decks. But I think that if you've already gotten a good deck from this particular tier, then I wouldn't chase it too much. In fact, if you take a look at the news feed, they actually mentioned something about a second vault pack that's going to come out tomorrow. So if you take a look at the news feed, the generational vault, there's every vault 24-hour offer will have a chance to drop a hero card from Dragons of the Deep. So that is going to be the 24-hour packs that you see on a daily basis. And then the generational vault, which is the one that we see right now, up to tier 5 is going to give you a guaranteed card from Battle for Mado. All right, so that is the second event. I'm trying to remember the Dragons of the Deep. I think that's the one from you before, where it's the I have some of those cards, so I can show you what they are. And then tomorrow there is an anniversary vault. The anniversary vault is going to be available at the start event. That is tomorrow, and it doesn't tell you whether or not there are going to be guaranteed cards, unlike this one. So the generational vault tells you that it's guaranteed up to tier 5. But the anniversary vault doesn't. So I'm reading this and I'm taking at face value that means there is no guarantee potentially. But what that means is there's a chance for you to get the Nicole deck. And I'm going to show you what what that deck is like. I don't have the actual Nicole deck, but just the previous light commander deck that we had with the idols, that's exactly that deck. That mechanic is exactly the same. So it's a very powerful deck for a guild versus guild. And if you are missing a card for the ultimate form, for example, that would be an opportunity for you to potentially draw something from there. However, I don't know whether or not there's any guarantees from that vault. So I want to be very careful. I want to be very upfront right now that I don't know enough about that vault to say anything about whether or not we should hold off and commit. What I will say, though, is based on what I see, based on what I know, I don't know that it's necessarily... I don't think it's necessary for you to actually go to tier 5 just to collect that ultimate form, if that's not what you are planning on doing with your gems. You could potentially save some of that gems for the next pack that's going to come out and potentially get yourself a Nicole, which is going to be a lot more useful in my opinion. So like the support card and the event card from that event of Battle for Mado, it's okay, right? It's good for free to play, but it's not something I would chase a lot after. But if you go up to tier 4, you're gonna at least get the Master Collection card, which is a good addition. So that's just my personal opinion there. And that's also a good suggestion from William Come there, that if you just simply save your gems today, you could actually save your gems for the next day, where you can actually see what it's all about. Like, so now then you're going to have a full view of all of the packs that are available. And that's actually what I would recommend as well, in that you shouldn't open any packs today. You should open the vault tomorrow, because there's going to be 3 different things for you to open. So that's that would be my recommendation as well. But what I wanted to do is I wanted to open at least one tier today, just to show you what it's going to look like, so that if you have opened it, you can look back at this stream or you can look at this video and understand what it's all about. And ideas. Can I talk about deck ideas to kill celestial bounties? I can certainly do that afterwards. So what we're going to do is we're going to talk about the cards. I'm going to tell you whether or not it's good. And we're going to take a look at some of the cards that I can show you to sort of explain the mechanics a little bit. But this is a reset deck. And you know that by looking at the icon and also just the battle skill. So we're going to actually start with the ultimate form here. So the ultimate form is Pirates Plunderers. Now, couple of my guildmates are huge into pirates, so they're super stoked for this event. So that is actually pretty cool. But it's a Fable type deck. And what it does is it will create up to 10 water power gen 4s. And it also, basically it starts with 5 power gen 4s and it increases depending on the stack of loot. And you increase loot by attacking. So every time the Master Collection card, the event card, and the ultimate form attacks, it increases the number of the stack of that. And it goes in increments of 3. And so what you can do is you want to go up to 15. So 15 stacks is what you're looking for. And once you use it, within that turn, it will remain the same because then you can create the number of power gems that you need. And after that, it will basically reset to 0. But then once you attack, it goes up again. And this is a reset type deck. That means once its battle skill is used, it can be recharged again up to fully. And then you can use that immediately within the same turn. So imagine you can basically create 10 power gems twice. So if you're at 300 skill point, or if you have 15, not skill point, if you have 15 stacks of loot, you can create 10 water power gems, and then you can reset it, and then you can create another 10. So that's the power of the reset. But one weakness of this deck at the same time is that you need to have, at some point, you're going to fill up the board with Power Gen 4s, and it doesn't really matter if you create more, because Power Gen 4s, once you fill it up, that's it. And the only way to get more attack out of it is if you get some attack boost. And so, taking a look at the ultra rare card, which is a Cannon Blast Barbarossa, what it does is this is the card that will recharge, but it's going to recharge 2 heroes at a time. So instead of 1, it will actually recharge 2. So this is a lot more powerful than a support card you're going to see, because you can basically use 2 cards, and then you can charge them, and then you can use 2 again, so you can generate more power gems. And you always want to use your ultra rare cards so that you can recharge the ultimate form. You always want to charge your ultimate form because it will create you the most number of gems. And what this will do is this will recharge, and it will also dispel all the debuffs on your team, but only if you have 15 stacks at the time. So it's not really that useful. You can only use it once every, at most, maybe 5 turns if you're using the ideal setup. And it does have a passive ability to create power gems every time it attacks, but it doesn't have any attack boost. So there's no way to get more damage. So once you fill up the board, if you have configurations that fill up the board for you, that's it. There's no more ways to increase your attack. You sort of max and cap at that deck. So that's the limitation of this deck, is that it's really, really good at getting the power gems, but it's not as good to boost your attack, except for when you can get the ultimate gems. So once you get the 300 skill points, this is why you want to recharge your ultimate form, because you can recharge your ultimate form multiple times. So then you can have multiple ultimate gems, and when you swap them is when you're going to get a big attack boost. So that's sort of the limitation of the deck itself, but because of the change they made to the skill points, it has made it a lot better. And so that's the best way to get the most out of your deck, by getting to skill point 300, and then use your ultimate form card as many times as you could at 300 skill points, so that you can get the ultimate gem. It's going to be the number of ultimate gems that's going to make a difference for this particular deck. And let's see. Will I go to at least tier 3? Well, I kind of wanted to save my gems a little bit for the next tier. Tier 3, that's going to be 2,400 gems. I kind of feel like I'll open at least 1 or 2. Okay, I will wait and see about the 3rd tier, just for me. But I might end up going for it. That might mean I'll probably get about 6,000 6,000 gems to open a second vault. We'll see. And let's see. How do I use the Dragoon? At the end, can I explain how to use Dragoons? Yeah, I can take a look at the Dragoons as well. And so that's basically the Master Collection card, the Ultra Rare card, and the Ultimate form. And if you take a look at the support card, it's essentially the same as the Ultra Rare card in that it will also recharge. But the weakness here is that it recharges one hero. And so instead of charging 2, it only recharges 1. And this is the type of deck where I will always say, if you have a combination of the Master Collection card, a main event card, and 1 support card, or 2 support cards, you might as well put in the 2 supports. Let's say you have, let me rephrase this. If you have enough to field a full team, you should have as many copies of the support card as you can, including your Master Collection card, because it will mimic it essentially mimics the Master Collection card because you can reset it each time. And so this will give you the ability to reset your Master Collection card so you can generate more power gems, and it creates water gems. Whereas the event card is a little sad. I've always felt that this is the weirdest sort of implementation of this deck because the event card, Bonnie the Renowned, is actually a really cool looking card, but it has the weakest skill in my opinion. So like I'm gonna take a look because I really like this art here. But what it'll do is it'll create power gem 1s. It'll create up to 8 power gem 1s at a rate of 3 water power gem 1s for every 3 stacks. Okay, so again, 15 stacks gives you 8 power gem 1s. And what it does is it will increase the attack. Oh, so I guess it does increase the attack here. I didn't read this part. So so this will increase the attack by up to 15% essentially. So again, it's still stacked. It still maximizes at 15%. So that is the cap there. And then whereas the Master Collection card, which is actually not that one, the Master Collection card, which is Davy Jones, will create up to 9 power gem 3s. So compare 8 power gem 1s and 9 power gem 3s. You can actually reset a Master Collection card using the support, so you can get additional 9 power gem 3s as opposed to a event card. So like, given a choice between 1 Master Collection card, 1 event card, and 3 support cards versus 1 Master Collection card and 4 support cards, you should always use the 4 support cards. The only downside is that you're going to get your stacks of loot slower, but I think that it actually will make up for it because you're going to get that much more damage boost from the Master Collection card. And each time this hero attacks, it will increase that. So basically, it doesn't matter whether this attacks or not. It's just that the loot, if you can get up to 15%, 15 stacks, you're going to increase the attack by 15%. And it says this is triple in Guild versus Skill, which is interesting. I think that's a new thing too. And so it is also Arcane Killer, and so you can actually use a water card from a previous Slayer event to some degree of success as well. And so let's see. So the attack boost is from loot, not the hero, so it doesn't stack. Yeah. So thanks. I just reread that as well. So it's basically like, it's kind of like Grail, where the number of stack of Grail gives you a certain number of power gems. It doesn't actually stack. It doesn't matter how many number of heroes you have. It's just that the more heroes you have, the faster the stack will add up. And so the more heroes you have on the team, the quicker you get to the 15% damage boost. So that's the main difference. Now, is this deck worth it? So having played a reset deck, I mean, for its event, it's going to do well. It's going to give you the ability to go at least, like a single pink star can get you at least prestige 1 or 2 without many issues. I mean, you're going to have to really fiddle around with the relics and whatnot to try to get the overkill in prestige 2. I remember last time it was quite a challenge, but it was possible. Definitely really easy at prestige 1. So that's with 1 pink star. And with the other deck here, again, like I said, with the Daihomaru deck, I'm not sure just because I haven't played with it. So I kind of wanted to hold off, but I'm not going to be streaming tomorrow. And so I'll open a couple of tiers today. And so mainly I wanted to show you because we're going to be guaranteeing 1 Daihomaru and you're going to see what it's going to look like. And so you're going to see a gold reward. And it's not necessarily going to be an event card. But what we're going to get is we're going to get our event pull. So these are the 2 cards. Those were the 2 cards from the actual vault pull. And then here you have a gold reward that was a support card, and I could totally understand why people are super frustrated with it because it was a very much of a letdown, ending up getting a support card from the event. And so my tier one basically got me a, well, I think it was a card. It was basically two cards that aren't going to be as useful, and I got 1,000 Master Dust. And so that's tier one. And I said I'm gonna go two tiers. I will do that. So I'm gonna basically get Mega Sentinel. I don't believe I had Mega Sentinel from the event itself. I actually only had the support card from the event. And so the second tier will guarantee me a support card of this event, and then the main event card from the previous event, and I believe 2 cards plus an additional pull. So I'm expecting 3 more cards from the vault itself. And so I got the Master Collection card, so Cannon Blast Barbarossa, so that's good. Wait, what? That was a soul. That was weird. What did I get? Did I get 2 Master Collection cards? And then this is a support card. And then this is going to be the event card from the previous event. So, oh no, that's the ultra rare card. So I got 2 ultra rare cards. So I need the Master Collection card then, right? So I think I got 2 ultra rares. Unless it was just like a weird, funky UI thing. Because I pressed it and then it kind of like did something again. No, so I just got the 1. So I got the ultra rare card. So that's good. And then I got the support card and the event card from the previous one. So yeah, I'm sure. I'm not sure if it looked like that to you, but when I pressed it, it looked like it kind of did something again, like the screen shifted. So it looked like I got something. So unless they just kind of made the souls look like it's a new thing. So that was a good pull. It's a good card, but it only is useful. It's only useful if you have a Master Collection card. Like this is one of those cards where like you now must have a Master Collection card to make this useful. Otherwise, it's really just not as powerful. All right, so I suppose I'll just open up tier 3. That gives me 14. I'll go down to 5,700, so that gives me less gems to pull the second pack. But I will do this. I'm gonna go ahead and open up just so at least I can get a relic there. And this is gonna get me another relic from the previous event. So basically, I'll get 2 relics as a guarantee. I'll get the event relic is the guarantee. So come on, Master Collection card. Oh, I guess I'm not gonna get it if I've pulled this many. So this is the guaranteed relic, and I think the guaranteed stuff comes last. So I'm not gonna be. So that means I don't have the Master Collection card. And this is going to be the other relic, and that's the other guarantee, and that's pretty much it. So no Master Collection card for me for this particular event, because I don't think I'm gonna go tier 4. Yeah, so that's the 2 relics, and so I'm left with 5,700 gems. I would have liked to have the Master Collection card, and like even by itself, I think it would have been good. So I think I will see. I'll see in the future packs what it's like, but for now I'm gonna leave it at that. But you kind of see what it's all about, right? So all of the guaranteed items come a little bit later, and the ones that are guaranteed from the previous event doesn't actually take away from what you have in there. So got an ultra rare, that's not bad. But it's too bad I can't trade, right? So can actually trade it. So I'm gonna have to do something with that afterwards. All right, so let's go ahead and I'm gonna clear some space first, and I'm gonna show you the cards that hopefully I can show you the cards. I think some of the questions were how do we go against the current the current bounty hunter bosses, and also how to use some of the decks there. All right, so I'm gonna clear you guys out. Hopefully I have enough space there. I kind of just don't want to keep Daihomaru, that's the thing. And then I claimed all of these other cards from the previous from the season, so I don't have space to keep all of these. I have Daihomaru, Barbarossa. Oh my gosh. So even if I clear them all, I still have 2 additional that I need to get rid of. And so Syndrome Gaming, they made a gold emissions. I see, yeah. And hello, Sandy. Nice to see you as well. Welcome to the stream. Okay. Am I am I using my dust for this event? I suppose I could. If you take a look at my dust, if you take a look at my dust, I guess you could. Let me see. I have 14.2, and if I collect all of my Master Collection dust, then by the end of this event, I will have enough dust to actually craft the Master Collection card. So that is actually an option for me. Like I said, like it's one of those decks where it's good to have, but I just don't really feel like chasing too much, especially if there's an opportunity to get the Nicole deck afterwards. So I'm at 15.8. So yeah, so I definitely will be able to get the dust needed to get one pink star for this. And I think I will be able to get, if so if I don't get the event card from the collection, then in order to get the shiny, I will have to pull another tier. So I'll have to see. Like it's one of those things where I have to manage my gems a little bit. And sell Luana and Furky. That kind of, yeah, I can at least sell Furky. I can get him back. How many do I have now? I'm gonna sell Tesla. I don't really need him as a. I don't really need. Instead of selling Tesla, I'm gonna sell. This is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna sell my. One of my 2 copies of Architect Sophia. It just makes more sense. If I'm going to be selling it, I'm going to sell you. Because I haven't used them in a long time anyways. I can always get it back. That's true. All right, so I'm now at the right number of cards. And a couple of things I wanted to show you. The first one is if you don't have the Water Slayer, if you don't have a water deck, commander deck, what can you do? Well, if you have the Water Slayer deck, you can actually use this deck because this is going to be an arcane. This is the event where arcane killer bonus is going to be effective, and so this is a deck that will. Let's do power. So this is the deck that you can use. Frozen Devastation. It uses Arcane, and it basically is the new the Bio Blitzer deck as well. And so it's going to be quite powerful. So you can combine this with any other commander card, and you can actually do relatively well in this event using this deck. So if you already have this deck, then you're pretty much set for the event. So there's really no need to really chase necessarily. And so that's the first thing I will say. And of course, I am going to have other ideas. Typically, commander events are the events where I actually kind of have to be creative with my decks because I don't typically go after the full team. So, like I said, I like Slayers better, but we'll definitely have more ideas afterwards. And so, ideas matter. That would be a good use of trading cards. Should be able to reconvert and make cards for trade with the government. Yeah, I wish that they would continue with the trading. Like I personally like that. And Nicole deck is definitely a much better deck, and that is the one I'm going to show you right now. So if we're going to do the Light Commander deck, this was basically the deck that we, the event that we just had, the Idol deck, right? So this is the deck where you will be able to create tons and tons of power gems every 3 turns. And what we're going to do is we're going to use this against skill versus skill. And I think I've shown this in a previous video before, and the Nicole deck will be able to do exactly the same thing. It's really, really good. Does Nicole deck get the killer? So Nicole gets a different killer bonus. I think it gets the killer bonus from the previous event. So it will, I forget what the previous killer bonus is, but it's going to be either chaotic. I think it's chaotic. I can't remember. It's not going to have arcane because the killer bonus is already from when it came out. And so you could at least use that to immortal. Thank you. So you can at least use that for to some benefit. All right, so let's take a look at guild versus guild. Let's go into guild wars for now. Maybe we can take a look and see if there's any dark opponents that we can go up against. And I see one, so I'm going to go ahead and show you the power of this type of deck. Now, I'm showing this with two ultra rare cards, but really one ultra rare card and one support card is going to be sufficient. And so I'm going to show this deck, and I'm going to show the reset deck afterwards as well, because that's the actual event deck, so I can show you how that works. And so it looks like we get So we actually have I didn't even bother looking, so this is the problem, right? So we have I shouldn't have done that. I should have just practiced. I kind of jumped into it. So sorry, the guildmates. So the gem silence actually caused an issue for me. So that was not good. Let's take a look at another dark one, and we'll go into R and S. So that was fail right there, but it's actually a really strong deck. It just didn't I didn't think about it clearly enough. All right, so while I'm here, I'm gonna go ahead and do a practice round. I'm gonna answer some questions. So Mount Fillmore, do you know if how the top players for daily guild versus guild polling were determined? Your guess is as good as mine. I think that it has to do with either like the speed at which you defeated the bosses, or like at the time when you actually went in. But yeah, I don't actually know. I can give all kinds of guesses, but I don't actually know. This is one of those things that people have asked questions, but I don't think has ever been answered. All right, let's try this one more time. I'm not sure why I died there. I don't typically. I usually am able to kind of go through the first defender pretty easily. So let's try this again. So typically with this particular deck, I think it has to do with the fact that my passive got blocked, but it shouldn't have. I shouldn't have died. Well, I not that I shouldn't have. Like I was surprised I died on the first turn there. So with this particular deck, usually if you go up against the defender of a weaker affinity, you could usually bypass the first boss. And then what you do is on the second boss, just activate one of your ultra rare cards. And what I like to do is I actually would just go ahead and I would just wait for my. I would just wait for another turn, because what it will do is Toxin blocks it. So I am having a really bad sort of course, the time I'm showing you how this works, I pick the defenders that I can't really effectively show. All right, so let's take a look at this. I think I should be fine in taking out the defender with this. So the problem right now is I'm not getting my dancing status, so I'm not really able to generate the number of gems that I wanted to. You can sort of see here, because I don't have my dancing status, my passive gems that I create aren't doubled. And what I really sort of depending on is the passive here to spawn the power gems, so that I could take care of turn 3 with just the passive, so I can save a turn. But since I still managed to get I managed to get okay, so I think I'm okay there. So one more turn for Toxin. Let's take a look here. So I think I'm not going to be able to use the skill here. So I can't use my ultra rare card here. I don't have immune, so I'm gonna have to make sure that I activate all of my power gems here, all of my skills here, and hopefully this should be enough for me to take it out. I think I might just get it. It looks like I should be just fine. Okay, so that's good. And so now what I can do is go ahead and activate this. It's just that Toxin actually would have blocked that skill, so I couldn't actually use it. So that's the one thing you have to be careful about. And I'm not gonna. I think this is. I forget what this one does, but it's probably not going to be Gem Silence. Jeez. So it does get dispelled. So Gem Silence actually gets dispelled, and Toxin didn't. So that's the thing I was surprised at. But like when you activate the ultra rare, you don't actually need to worry about the gem silence or power gem silence or anything like that, because it actually gets dispelled. So basically, this is how you would use this deck. It's with this particular opponent, I had to think a little bit, but you can see like with a really strong opponent, I was still able to take it down after just a little bit of thought. And so yeah, so the birthright gem silence ruined my score there. So again, apologies to my guildmates there. Let's see. Yusef, hello, welcome to the stream, and Fernando, thank you for joining us. All right, so the other thing I wanted to talk about is the actual deck that is going to be reset. So that is, I think which one did I have? The last reset was the dark one, right? So there was the dark commander. And so this is the reset deck. And so the way you want to use this, I'm going to show you how this is used with a legend trial. I haven't played legend trials in like a whole like other week. So let's go ahead and do this. I was kind of like, it's been a while. It's been a while since I've done the legend trial. So let's go ahead and just go into a legend trial boss right away, and we're going to change out the boss a little bit. Yeah, I don't have Earth Tech, unfortunately, so I'm going to use the dark one instead. But you can certainly do that. And the best for this would be multiple copies of Ultra Rare if you have it. And since I only have one, I can only make do with that. And so what you want to do is you want to fill up the team with your master collection cards. And where is my other? There it is. And then I'm going to put in the support card. And in fact, I actually had there's an order you want to put the cards into. So you want to put the ultra rare card first. And I think what you can do is you can put the ultra rare card, and then you want to do like this, I think. So you're going to do ultra rare card, master collection card, and then your ultra rare ultimate form master collection card. No, you want to do ultimate form. Maybe this would be better. Ultimate form, support card, like this. Ultimate form, support card, ultimate form, master collection card, ultra rare, ultimate form, master collection card, master collection card. So that would be the ideal setup. Let's make sure that we get the right relics in there, and then let's go and do a fight. So we're going to pretend that we have this event deck. I'm going to show you how this works. So don't have great relics here, but we're going to go ahead and do this. Oops, that didn't change. The Reaper. Do you think we might be seeing the yokai deck for the next Water Slayer? There's a high chance. I mean, we saw the water the yokai deck for fire, and that got a lot of people buying cards for sure. And so I think so. And Judge of All, can you show us how to use the previous Red Slayer deck in Guild vs. Guild? Okay, I can do that as well. I'm just gonna quickly show the way to use this deck, and then we could go ahead and jump into that as well. So like this will be the event where this will be the stream where I could definitely show those, because the next Thursday, this Thursday I should say, I just wanted to give a quick announcement. I should have announced it earlier. I'm gonna put it in the description as well. This Thursday for the next stream, what I'm planning on doing is I'm actually going to do a special stream just on the Proving Grounds, because they've announced it. They plan on coming out with the Proving Grounds on Thursday, and so I'm going to definitely have I'm going to have a stream for that for sure. So tune in for that, and I'm going to I'll be playing with it and exploring it and help answer any questions if there are any as well. Okay, so again, I don't expect to actually defeat a boss here. I'm really just here to show you how it activates. So I've set this up so I can go from left to right. So ultimate form, then I activate a support card so I can activate my ultimate form again. Then I activate the master collection card. Now when I activate the ultra rare, 2 of those cards will be activated again. So I'm guaranteed to have the maximum number of activation. Now, if I had another support card, I would actually put this in place of the master collection card, because what I could do is I could activate my ultimate form again. Right, but since I don't, I'm just going to activate my master collection card, and now I have my full board of power gems. And basically, this is a 3-turn deck, so you basically would just do this every 3 turns, because you also, during this time, you want to attack as often as possible, so that you increase the number of your, in this case, it's Dread. In this particular event deck, it's going to be Loot, right? So you want to basically make sure that you actually attack. The other problem with this deck is that there is no heal. So if you take a look at any of these, like there is basically battle skills that create gems, and then you can increase the attack a little bit, but there's no heal. Okay, so that's the thing. This is something that I talked about last time. It's sort of a glass cannon, and so the same thing with this water deck is that eventually you're probably gonna run into health related issues if you go up against like really big ultimate bosses. That was the thing that I think I heard about, and I remember I didn't go too far into the ultimate boss, but at the time I was able to use the Wicked Queen, because it was a dark commander card and gave me a boost and it gave me heal, so I definitely use that. For the water, you're gonna want to use the water heal card, and that is going to be Tanu. So Tanu is the card that you can use to you can use Tanu for heal for this particular water event. And also, Daihomaru is okay if you have the ultra rare card. Actually, you can actually use your stacks of I forget what it creates, the Grail basically to do some heal, but it's not as effective, right? So if you do Water Commander and this is going to be a corrupt type, this is a card that's going to help you if you have it for some good heal, and it gives you the Water Commander bonus. Okay, and so now the question that the judge asked is how to use this particular deck for guild versus guild. Let me think about that for a second. So again, I think what you want to do is you want to use 2 ultra rare cards, right? And the thing is, you don't actually get any immunity here. So really, you're just trying to force yourself to take out the boss using the sheer number of power gems. And so what you want to do is you'll want to get, is it 2 ultimate forms? I think for guild versus guild, is it 1 or 2? Let me first take a look to see if we have any opponents that have let me see if there's any opponents that have Earth Defenders, and then we can see. So if we take a look at any, so we have 1, so ISO power, we can try it. I haven't actually played using that deck as much for guild versus guild, so I'm gonna have to do a little bit of research as well to take a look at that. And so if we go into this, and this is the deck. This currently uses 1 ultra rare, and it does use 1 copy of the Despot of Despair card. I mean, we could try it, right? So let's just go ahead and battle it. I think I can't remember. This is why I have to try it out. So like the question is going to be whether I use 1 ultra rare or 2. Judge of all, I can also use yours. Okay, we can do that too. Why don't we do that? Just for fun, let's do that. So let's go and take a look at Judge of all. And so far, my guild versus guild record is 1 for 2. And so it's looking like it might just simply be 1 for 3, since I haven't really thought this through very well. And like, ideally with this deck, I probably would throw in a turn delay, right? And if not a turn delay, at least an immunity. I don't think I can use this deck straight up with this to take it out. And so Despot, Rodash, and Blitzkrieg, and Carl for guild versus guild. Okay, that's another option there. So turn 1, this really going to be the question of whether or not I'm going to be able to take it out, and I don't have enough power gems, period, to do anything. Like I won't, like I know already right out the bat, I don't have enough power gems to actually deal enough damage to take you out, given that you were at, I think, 46,000. So I'm gonna have to at least put another Rodash in there. So like this past yokai deck isn't going to be strong enough because of the turn 1 damage. Like I don't, with my setup, I don't have enough. So I'm gonna have to at least change it up. So not this one. So I'm gonna have to at least change this to Fire Slayer. So I need at least another one in there, right? So I need at least these 3. And then I think somebody mentioned Carl. Carl is for dispelling something. I guess because it also creates power gems. We can try with this first. Now this is going to be a little bit better. And so let's say, so Despot, Rodash on turn 2 and 4, Carl on 2 and 5, Blitz on 3. I guess you've already played with it, so we can try that for sure. And Johnny Tables, welcome to the stream, and just experimenting with guild versus guild. Yeah, so everybody's using Carl, so definitely I should be taking advice from you guys as well. Uh, I now have 2 copies of Carl. I actually got one when it came out in the store, and then afterwards, that's when they gave it out in the rewards as well. All right, so what people say? Despel, Rodash on turn 2. So basically use these 3 on turn 2. This will generate enough power gems to also activate your power gem passive on turn 2. And this might not be quite enough. Let's take a look. So what I need to do is, let's see, that's enough there. So that is going to be enough. And then basically on turn 3 is this guy right here. And then turn 4. So basically, yeah, so this is why having Carl is gonna be useful. What I could do is, I can't really do anything here, right? Okay, so I think if I do this, I can at least save a couple of power gems there. And I think the only problem is going to be the last turn. And yeah, so this is where having that is going to be good, because I think the next turn I'm going to have my passive ability coming out from my Rodash, and so I could actually get enough passive on turn 5 plus Carl. Yeah, so thank you for that tip. So yeah, so this is the passive here, and then with Carl I can also get some additional gems there. That's the reason why he's going to be useful, because he does create power gems there. And so that is going to be, oh, I missed one power gem there. So that is going to be, yep. So we were able to take it out. So Judge of All, apologies, we did take you out there with that particular setup. It just kind of goes to show, like, just some of these decks are super powerful, like super OP, and it's just, unfortunate that so a lot of us have put really a lot of work into our Good versus Kill team. Like I'm actually going to be able to take out my team, like my defenders, with my dark team as well. Same idea. So it's just unfortunate. Yeah, so that's why I use the Carl instead of UR. So that's correct. And since most of us, hopefully, you got the Carl card from the season 2. That's going to be really useful in your team as well. So thank you for that, Centrum Gaming. I didn't use Carl in that particular setup, but you can definitely throw that in there for some success. Now, Bounty Hunter. So after playing through the Bounty Hunter event this time around, or the last time, I would recommend that you don't even worry about the bounty bosses until you've at least collected the 500 gems. So the reason for that is because you're using up keys to take out the bounty dungeon boss. And if you don't succeed, that's a wasted key right there. And you need those keys to at least get to Celestial Floor 1 and 2 in order to get enough to collect your 500 gems. So first and foremost, your target is your 500 gems in the bounty dungeons. Get that first before attempting the boss. Having said that, now, what can we do with? I don't have the key though, so I can't even show you. So with Nicole, I think the health is 1 trillion. So you want to use a deck that is going to give you turn delay and nuke. So the deck that I ended up using was a combination of, I ended up using this type of deck, but I ended up using the Hard One Gorilla and Unbreakable Sisterhood, because that was the first time it came out. But since then, we have United Taurus that's also available, and this is the Gem Destroy deck. And so the key thing here is you need to heal, right? Like, it deals so much damage that I don't think it matters, because I think it just one shots you. So the most important thing is to actually delay the team. Like, you just need to keep delaying Nicole. And so having a turn delay card is going to be useful. You definitely want to use an Earth card if possible. I think I actually dusted my Swarm cards. People are going to think that's blasphemous, but I think I got rid of it, because I just didn't have enough space, and I don't really use turn delays anymore. Oh no, I kept them. I thought about getting rid of them. So Yoran Swarmers is going to be helpful in your setup because you want to have a team that could actually deal enough damage and also get enough gems. In which case, some of the past decks that have come out, the Earth decks, are going to be good for that. You can really fill up the gems, fill up the board with gems, and then you can power your Swarmers and just keep turn delaying while chipping away at the damage. And then if you can get a couple of big hits in there, you might be able to do that. But you only have, I think, 30 seconds. I think it's actually time. It's not unlimited time for those bosses, and so you have to be quick about it as well. Unfortunately, I don't have the keys to show you, so we're gonna have to just go with that. And so, Con William D, you need 2 Swarmers. I think that's true because one Swarmer gives you 2 turn delay, but most of the cards have a 3 turn delay, and so you won't have enough of the turn delay to last. So you do need to have that as well. Another option would be it's not available though. One of the Disgust Ifrit, I think it's called. Is also a card that you can use, although it requires more gems. And so I think it's a Earth card, and it's gonna be what is it? It's Spirit. I think it's Spirit. So let's take a look at. No, it's I don't think it's Spirit. Because if it was Spirit, I would. Oh yeah, it is. So Disgust Ifrit is another one that is also a turn delay card. Although they made this card basically impossible to get. I think they took it out completely from the pool. But if you've ever owned this card, you can at least buy this card back. Whereas Yorn Pest and Yorn Swarmers, you can't buy back from Dust Shop, from anywhere. If you're able to get it back from the codex, at least you could use that as an option. And so 60-second timer, thanks. So I'm just full of incorrect information today, so thank you very much for keeping me honest here and giving me the right information. So it's a 60-second timer. Ideally, you want to have 2 turn delay cards against Nicole so that you can actually deal enough damage and also delay her enough so you can continue to take it out. And so let's see. Yeah, so the Spirit card requires more gems. That's the only thing. So it requires 24 instead of 20. Thank you very much, Demos. And so yeah, so like, unfortunately, those 2 cards aren't really available anyway. Like you can't, like you can buy it, but you can buy this the Disgust Ifrit back if you've ever owned it before. But if you don't, then it's gonna be hard for you to get that. So that's just the only thing that it's unfortunate that way. I've been here long enough that I actually have them, but I prefer the Yorn Swarmers because it actually requires less investment per gem. And so let's see, we actually covered quite a bit of stuff. Hopefully I've answered most of the questions there. I really appreciated a lot of the feedback and sort of suggestions there, using Carl to, as a supplemental card for your Guild vs. Guild Fire team is actually a really good option. Same thing with if you have a light deck, you could actually use Luana for that purpose too. So the card that I didn't want to dust was Luana. Luana Immortal Light is a card that is just like, right? It's just like Carl. It creates 6 light gems, 4 power gems, and it increases intensity every 2 turns. So every 2 turns, you're getting these gem spawns, and so it lines up well with the with the Scholars, right? So with the Scholars deck, you'll want to build, if you're going up against a dark defense, I mean, you could use different decks. If you don't have the Idol deck, then the other deck that you could build is going to be this one. So you can take a look at the Light Slayer deck, and you can do power. So the Mystic one, so you'll be like basically this setup. Now I just so this would be the setup that you'll want to do, and then I suppose we can also do this. I mean, I can completely mimic it, right? So this would be the light version of that deck, and it'd be like that. So going up against Dark Boss, there's a couple options. You can use this deck, and you can also use the Idol deck. But the Idol deck is going to be a little bit easier, I think. Just it feels easier because of the immunity that you get from your card and the fact that it dispels everything except for Toxin. So Sanja, did I discuss the new Water Commander event? The event that's coming up. Basically, I did that at the very, very beginning. I talked about the cards, and I also I opened up a couple of tiers. Basically, my recommendation is hold off your gems until tomorrow. Wait until all the packs are available, because not all the packs are available right now. Wait until everything's available. Then decide what you want to focus your gems on. if I had to focus on one to go all in on, I might actually go with a Nicole deck if I don't have either. And having played with a reset deck, I think it's fun, but I think I would want to go with the Nicole deck because I have the light version of that deck, the idol deck. I think I prefer that. Like you want to get two ultra rare cards, and you want to get two master collection cards. Ideally you want to get two pink stars. Basically, what you're going after. But I think that that deck is going to give you so much more power over any fire defenders that people have. Not that a lot of people have fire defenders nowadays, but it's a good fun deck to use overall. So that would be sort of like my thoughts. But I just think that this deck reset is good for this event for sure. There's no weaknesses. Like it's not weak. It's a little bit of a glass cannon, but it is going to be fun to use as well. It will definitely be powerful. So if you choose to go after it, I would still recommend going tomorrow because then you have the full information on all the cards available. So that is pretty much, I think everything I wanted to cover in this particular event. I don't think there's any other surprises besides that. I hope not. Let's take a look here. So I just want to make sure that I don't miss anything in the newsfeed. And Catherine McIntyre, welcome here. And Sandra, this deck is almost the same as the Earth Tech Commander in the past event. It's pretty much the same. There's a little bit of a difference in that they added some bonus for Guild versus Guild. But again, like I don't know if that is, I've never actually tried the reset deck in Guild vs. Guild, although I can imagine that being good because if you have a couple of ultra rare cards, you can reset every turn to basically get the most out of all of your battle skills. So I could see that being very useful. But you need multiple copies of the ultra rare cards, and I don't have that. All right, so the generational vault here. So we have a new season starting tomorrow, and I mentioned that I'm going to have a stream on the Proving Grounds on Thursday. So make sure that you check in. I will also post something on announcements tomorrow. I have a surprise for everyone. It's going to be in my. I'm going to be posting it. So if you are subscribed to my channel, you'll definitely see that. So I would recommend definitely tuning in for a special announcement there. And so one last thing I will cover, we have deck groups. So if you take a look at the cards today, you need to make sure that you update. If you're on iOS, you need to manually update in order to see this. And they've said that the groupings are only available for additional groups are only available if you have VIP. Personally, I think that sucks. I would have loved to at least see free-to-play players get the second group for free. I would have chosen to give a free group to free-to-play players and then made group 3 and group 4 a VIP bonus. Like that's how I would have done it. I've given my thoughts about that as well. I just feel like there's no reason to paywall the second group. Right? You can only get it if you're VIP. But having said that, one of the things that we have talked about is ability to actually store more decks so that we could actually let's say we're in a Slayer event and we need to go after the Frenzy bosses. Well, guess what? We can maybe use group 2 to set all of our Frenzy bosses. But now here's the problem. One thing that is really a shame is that if you take a look at anyone else in your guild, you can't see it. You can't see the groups. You can only see the very first grouping, so you can't see the other cards in there. So it's not like I can say, oh, take a look at my group 3 and check out the cards in there for Guild versus Guild, or take a look at my my group 4 for Punisher bosses. So that is something that I hope that they will address in the next iteration. But for those of you who do have VIP and are looking for new slots or just a better way to group, I actually feel like this is it's gonna be faster for me literally to go look at how many times I have to scroll to go from like the first team to my last team. I will probably end up going group 1 through 4, and I would probably set up so that my top 4 teams are probably going to be like within the groups. It's just faster to do. Like I don't know how I'm going to set up just yet, but I don't have to scroll. I just need to pick and choose what I want. And what I did, actually, there was a funky bug before, so I just kind of made all of the leaders the same so that my avatar didn't change. I think they pushed that fix though, but that was how you can change that. And so if you don't see this and you're on iOS, you need to manually update the game, and then you will see this. They also did this so that they can prepare for the proving ground, so that it'll be ready for the new update coming soon. And so this is why it's part of that. I think that if, like I said, if they had made this just even just a second group, if they had just made the second group available to free to play, this would have been an amazing update. Personally, that's how I feel. And so let's see, Mount Fillmore, yeah, it's for VIPs only. Central, Sandra, let's see what you say. It's just like the previous event. You're not a big fan of reset decks. Yeah, I mean it's okay, right? Like I said, it's gonna be fun to use, but not as useful as some of the other mechanics I see. And so Mount Fairmore, did I notice the game now forgot all the decks you've used for existing events like Gear, Dungeon, Forge Boss, etc.? I haven't paid attention. Do you mean like the teams that you used to use, it now doesn't show you that anymore? I imagine with this update it probably broke all of that, so I can imagine. And DMOS should have been 5 groups total, 1 for each affinity. I think that's how the newsfeed originally showed it. Not newsfeed, but there was an announcement that showed 5, but we end up with 4. So I don't know. This is what we have right now. It might change. I don't know. But I'll take advantage of it simply because I have VIP right now, so I will use that as well. So Sandra, you have up to group 4. It's a lot of slots. Like I said, like I think it's more beneficial to simply just use the first couple of slots and use your groups to kind of go vertical. Like that's how I kind of think about it. You're basically stacking the groups. It's a little bit faster to just kind of say, oh, like one, I'll probably just do like group 1. Like, first 3 slots for something I use, maybe up to 5. Like I'm not going to use all 15 slots. Like just to scroll all the way to the end, it takes time. And ever had this problem where you're scrolling and it's slow, it lags, and somehow you end up clicking on a card and then it shows up here when you're actively trying to get to a team that you need for Frenzy. So that is sort of a pain point that I've definitely felt. And so I'm looking forward to not have to do that again. And so, Justin Harris, speaking of scrolls coming this event, not for this event, but there's going to be scrolls from what I saw. If you saw the teasers and whatnot, they're showing scrolls, and I think it's going to be only for the proving grounds. And so this will help with frenzy bosses. That's how I feel as well. At least like if there's 5 groups, I could have set it up in like Demos said, I could have just set 1 affinity in each group, but 4 is going to be better than 1 at least. And so Hansuke, maybe you missed it, but mentioned deck ideas for the last 2 bosses and bounty hunters. I just mentioned for the last one, and that is you want to use 2 you want to use 2 turn delayers, ideally a earth earth team to take it out. You cannot take it out just by sheer power. You have to turn delay and make your way to take the boss out that way. I don't think even with a full earth deck on turn 1 you can take it out. I potentially not. I haven't tried. And so Sandra, always the card, fight frenzy pass by the time you found it. Yeah, so it's like that for me. Like I even with my phone, like I sometimes get into this little lag, and then next thing I know, I've missed out on 1 or 2 kills because my guildmates have already taken out. And so sometimes I end up just sticking with 1 team. I just don't even bother anymore. If I have a really good team, I just don't even bother anymore. And a revive will be useful too. So Sandra, yes, if you're using an Earth Spirit card and you have the Earth Slayer Relic, then you could definitely do that. So that's one of the reasons why Yorin Swarmer is really good. Oh, not Yorin Swarmer. That's because it's a Spirit card. Because you could do something like this. You can have a Earth Slayer Relic that gives you a free revive. So anytime you have a Spirit on the card, it gives you a revive, and then you can actually also get your earth gems from it. So that's a really great relic for that as well. I actually use this relic for my fire spirit team with Rodash. Sometimes if I feel like I'm not too confident with my fights, I just stick it in there and get a revive as well. So it definitely helps there. And so Joseph Scott, you can use affinity +1 plus a spot for your event deck. Yeah, I mean, like I'm not really like complaining too much. I'm just kind of talking about it at this point. But having these 4 groups is going to be very helpful because it will make it a little bit more efficient for me. Naming is going to be important at this point. I'm going to have to come up with some better names so I can so I know which slot I'm in. But I think this is going to help. So generally I'm happy with it. Wish that they would consider removing the VIP spot for number 2. I'm going to say this again. Hopefully they will give that a try. And so I think I've answered everybody's questions, and we are basically at time for this particular stream. So to basically do a quick recap, since it was kind of long, I think that this deck is going to be good, but not quite as strong as the Nicole deck, which I believe is going to come out tomorrow. However, because I don't know anything about the structure of that deck, it could become like a revival deck, in which case there's no guarantee and it's going to be very costly. And if that's the case, then I wouldn't recommend you chasing after the Nicole deck. So I'm gonna use this opportunity to talk about this now, since I just came up with that. Since I just thought about that, a revival deck. They don't have this here. A revival deck is one of those decks where you go up to tier 7 and it's much more expensive than normal packs, and there's zero guarantee for what you're going to get. So you could end up with nothing at all. And so if that's the case, if that's the structure for the deck, then I would say go after this particular event deck. At least you'll have a nice reset deck to go with. But if not, and you're balancing your gems, and the structure of the Nicole deck is the same as this one, then I would definitely by all means go after the vault for the Nicole deck, so that you could get a really nice deck that you can play with and also use that in Guild versus Skill. So that's basically the summary here. And what I'll do is, I'll think about some of the other ideas for, like, Guild versus Skill trials and whatnot with some of the other teams. And if I have time, then we'll have basically a video I come out with, a shorter one, maybe like a 10-minute video. And then Thursday will be a special stream for the Proving Grounds. So keep an eye out. Again, if you're not subscribed currently, subscribe to my channel so you can see the update in my post that's going to come out tomorrow, and take a look to see what's going on there. All right. And so Nicole deck isn't that good for them to cram. I don't think any deck is good enough to make it into a revival deck. To be honest with you, like, I would never go after a revival deck personally. Just the pricing structure is not very friendly, and so I would never recommend that. All right. So again, thanks very much for all of your time, guys. You've been awesome. You've been great. I really enjoyed the stream here. So take care, and I will see you on Thursday, and we'll see you then. All right, take care, everybody. Have a good event, and good luck on your pulls.